14th, 2021 to order. If you would rise and join the invitation and pledge, please.
Lord, thank you for all the gifts and blessings you give us daily. Just give us peace and harmony as we move throughout the day. And give the leaders of this body the strength and wisdom and guidance to make good, sound decisions for the citizens of this county. And we just thank you again for all the gifts and bless everyone in this room. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Greg. 10 o'clock, we have a funding request. Words and strides. So you have the plan. It doesn't matter, it's up to you.
Our program, we started partnering with the Harrison County Department of Education. And our initial meeting was to discuss homelessness and trauma and how trauma is ultimately the cause of homelessness. So our overall platform was just to try to address trauma in the county with hopefully the end goal of having better citizenry going forward. And our discussion became how we could interrupt the trauma cycle with children. So maybe just to back up a little bit, there's been research out, it's based on the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study. And anything that happens to a child under the age of 18 that has to do with neglect, abuse, mental disease in the family, homelessness, hunger, a wide variety of things. Any of those things can impact the child's brain development, which then ultimately impacts the adult's brain. So our objective was to use this research and try to get ahead of that with children, thinking that if we could kind of cut it off early, then the latter development and therefore the adult life would be better. So we worked with, we created a group called the Harrison County Trauma Informed Committee. And part of our group was the Harrison County Board of Education, Healthy Grand Families Program. And we ultimately ended up with deciding that we would use our equine program to work with children who had been displaced. All the children in the program are either in foster care, have been adopted, or living with their grandparents or another form of kin. So we have the kinship programs kind of built into that. And because we knew that we could intervene with the children early and impact their development, it always comes back to, well, who are you sending them home to? So the secondary part of the program is to work with their caregivers and teach them about trauma and how it affects the brain, why children act the way they do once they've been in trauma, and help them to understand so that they can be better equipped to work with the children that they're living with. So the program is set up to work with the children in the arena with the horses, and then the Parents as Teachers program works with the caregivers, and they sit and talk to them about all that stuff. So that's our whole approach. This is a pilot project, but so far it's been going really, really well, and we're really excited about it.
And that's what you want to use to.
Yes.
I believe he left the room because he is on the board.
He said the reason why I left. Yes, back in state the reason why I left.
Is Patsy out there, Chad? Tell him.
You come in and state on the record why you stepped outside, why you're gonna recuse yourself.
Just that I'm a member of on that board, and therefore I've just stepped out. You can decide whatever,
You want to recuse yourself?
please. Thanks.
And I think it's a worthy cause. Very worthy cause. And you're requesting three,
Yeah.
but you've been given 2,000 in the past. Okay.
So one motion is to award the 3,000.
Motion's been made to award $3,000
Thank you so much.
to Stars and Strides. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. And just note that Mr. Goodcock.
And I would love to come back and tell you about the program when it's all wrapped up.
That'd be great. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome to stay. So we'll move on to new business, public comment. Is anyone signed up?
Yes, real quick, I just wanted to tell you, just returned from NACO meeting yesterday and we'll put together a report for all of you. There's a lot of stuff on broadband, a lot of stuff on opioids that affect us. I think there's some good programs you guys might want to look at. So get a report together for it. One thing I wanted to ask of you all though is I would like to do like a little pat on the back to Agnes Queen from Lewis County and Greg Puckett from Mercer County. Agnes, because when she spoke at the broadband, she got very emotional, and a lot of people from counties that are having similar problems and getting through it came up to talk to her, so we got somewhere there. I think she was really good what she did there, just like to give her a pat on the back for that. And Greg is pretty much the head there. He's actually going to, unless he changes his plan, he's going to run for second vice next year with NACO. And just like to send a pat on the back and ask if you guys would sign it as well. Okay, so I'll put it together and deal with it. I have 10:30 appointments. If you need me, I'll be back.
Enjoy.
I'm just going across the street for a minute, so I'll be back. Thank you.
Is that the only one that's signed?
Yes.
Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Hearing none, we'll move on. Consent agenda. What's the pleasure?
Let's move forward. With,
No, this is,
I'm sorry. Let's move forward and adopt the record.
I don't see anything. The motion's been made to move forward with the consent agenda. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Number 3, payroll change notices. But
Let's move forward and adopt the record.
all of them, A through G.
Not sure I understand LPG. Law control the first string, so everyone that
I think it's the 3 of us that can speak to that. It's not just the 2. That's what you're saying.
trying to control that cost, but evidently we're not.
It's us. That's what he is asking for, and this is a matter of do we agree with what he's asking for.
Not asked.
This is how we're getting asked.
Never
Oh, you're talking about the deputies, or you're talking about,
Secure. Start date of 7/10.
well, these are increases for these 2 that are already there. Being, I guess, promotions, right, but they've already been. But the salary does not start, would not start until the next pay period.
Now,
Current pay period.
is Isaac adjusted new hires for deputies?
Isaac and Kirby, I believe, are new hires for that.
They are, yes.
We have 52.
We had
a
a
budget of 52 deputies and we have 51. So we just,
The information I got was that we had 3 vacancies for deputies with these 2 hires that will fill 2 of those vacancies and leave 1.
we don't have vacancies. We have budgeted 52. And we lost Napier, but we brought back more. We have budgeted 52.
But how many are we paying currently?
What is that now?
He doesn't know that information. I mean, do we want to table
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
the deputies and the
We have 51.
security until we can get further information?
Yeah, because we do have 52 budgeted. We currently have 51 on staff. And we just went, which is a good thing. Believe me, this is not a negative, but we did just raise payroll $38,000 with the promotions that were well earned. So question is, do we have any opening now? So I don't know.
I mean, I'm hearing these numbers, I should not actually. I mean, you're saying,
In the budget right now, it says 2 vacancies. And we have 51, including the boy across the street that works with Gary. And you have Napier, who's going to replace with the more, in his brother Luke work here.
I mean, my concern is, I don't want.
Did we just bring back more?
Mark's coming back.
Before Napier left.
Okay, so okay, good, because that takes us to 51. If you count the young man across the street, that takes us to 51.
Nick came back.
And we have budgeted 2 vacancies, David.
And the promotion for E,
Yeah, I mean, how, I mean,
what's he get promoted to?
Well, I think what we did is we moved up the young gentleman to captain.
no, not this one.
Right, but this
Oh,
opened
but
up.
this opened up a lieutenant, is this, is he a lieutenant?
He's currently a sergeant. He'll be moving up to lieutenant.
Right. So what I'm saying, Dave, is I don't believe we have any openings right now because of the promotions within the budget. There's 52. And that's on, on paper. And right now we have 51. But the 51 may be the cap because of what we just, the good thing we just did. That's the sheriff's decision. This is the night. So I don't know if these 2 gentlemen are actually going to be eligible to be hired within the budget right now.
I mean, that's what we need to find out. Money in the budget to cover these deputies.
There's money in the budget allocated for this fiscal year starting July 1st for 52. Yes,
And you say we currently have 51.
we have 51 if you count the young man across the street in corrections.
I don't know how he comes up with this. I mean, maybe we need to hear more.
So if you guys want to table this till next week till further notice, I'm okay with it. We can go ahead and adopt into record Mr. Nardelli's retirement. And also we can go ahead and adopt into record Mr. Dias's promotion. But the rest I think should be on hold till further notice. Diaz, I'm sorry, Diaz.
Letter E.
Because that is an open spot. You follow me there?
Yeah. See what it says on the other 2 that it's effective 7/10, so the promotion would automatically increase pay.
So we have to approve the payroll too.
So I don't know what you have in the budget for.
That's my,
security.
right, that's enough. I mean, I'm concerned about both budgets as far as. We subsidize that budget a lot, and I just want to make sure that we don't have to continue to do that.
Well, it did not, I did find out, so you guys know, it did not come in $190,000 over budget. It only came in $139,400 over budget. So it's 105% over budget last year, not as much as it was, because the grants did consume $60,000 of that. So that was good.
That we got from,
Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 grants. And that did take that 190 down to the 140. Right, yeah. And then on the budget, if we do it, it had 2 vacancies, which took us to 52. But one of the vacancies has been filled. We are 51. And the question I have is, do we want to go back to the 52 with the promotions, because it did add to the payroll $38,000.
sit down with budget.
And Susan, this paperwork is for security. This is not for what Commissioner Treeboss was talking about with the sheriff's office budget.
And also Steve, right, because it's an opening. Okay, so motion to move forward, approve and adopt in record A, B, and E, please.
Motion's been made under the payroll change notices to approve A, B, and D, A, B, and E only. Correct? And what are we doing with the rest of them?
Hold until further notice.
Until we can get more information.
Yeah, because we have to see what we're gonna take from, if we're gonna do that, because like I said, we went over last year 105%.
Nice increases
And
too.
this year. And it was good. I mean, the
Anybody
promotions
like to
were
have
great.
increases like that? Okay, any further discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Uh,
Aye. Opposed, hearing none, motion carried. Okay. And number 4, minutes and or amended minutes of previous meetings. Motion's been made to approve and adopt into record. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Requisitions, purchase orders, and invoices. Those are listed on the vendor requisition list.
Apologize. We need a motion to approve and adopt the record that exclude requisition 34667. Why, that's 34667. Commissioner, copy of the law.
Acquisition.
Would Laura give this, copy this to council afterwards? Council, but fine. Appreciate it. I'm pulling that in for that.
No further discussion. Motion's been made to approve requisitions with the exception of.
34667.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, hearing none, motion carries. It's 10:21. And we have a 10:20 petition to remove administrators of an estate. Trey did a script.
No, it's not that. Come on in. We'll figure it out.
It's the petition. It's the petitioner for petition for removal. Denise, correct?
I'm Brett Kenyon, an attorney from Paramount, I represent Denise.
See that?
We're at,
Just right there's fine.
I think we have most of the heirs here.
Please state your names for the record.
Denise Betty. Denise Betty.
Brent Kenyon, how about Brian entry of the parents too? Brent Kenyon,
Thanks for your lesson.
CAMEO. That's helpful too.
Is everybody involved on your side being served or notified? Or did you have anybody other than just the two of you?
Excuse me?
Is it just you two on the petitioner side?
Yes,
Okay. Should I identify the respondents as, Trey, should I do the respondents at this time or wait for them?
Are they not here?
I think
I'm
that's,
the administrator. The administrator said that no calling talking to the state. They're going on me.
Okay. Was there an opposition filed?
well, she's the petition, the initial petition, and she filed the opposition, the current administrator.
Yeah, the petitioner should go first.
Okay. That's right here.
well, the administrator in this estate is showing undue favoritism towards certain of the heirs at the expense of other heirs. Specifically, one of the heirs is a resident on the location of the real estate, which makes up the vast majority of the estate. Has been residing there for some time. One of the first acts that the administrator did was to attempt to evict that heir off of the property. The other issue is that while at the same time inviting or allowing other heirs to live with the property, to bring invitees onto the property, they've installed security cameras without giving access to all the heirs to the feed from the security camera. Ms. Fetty, who is a petitioner, has not received any sort of documentation. The administrator has stated that she has no intention of communicating with her. They have a personal dispute. There's a divided family. There are a number of heirs that fall on one side and a number of heirs that fall on another side. A certain number of them immediately at the funeral or shortly thereafter had conducted an informal vote and decided that one of the children of one of the heirs should have the house for his own. And I believe that the administrator and some of the other people that are here today are trying to intimidate the other heirs off the property so that they can dispose of it as they see fit. And that forms the basis of why Ms. Fetty has complained about the administration at this point. You understand? There have been a lot of accusations too of that Ms. Fetty was the medical power of attorney for her mother. And there have been a lot of accusations that she killed her mother, made by some of the heirs on that side of, on the other side of this estate. It's deeply contested. And there's a couple other issues. One is that there's a 13th heir involved in the case. It's there were 13 children for Thelma Cochran, and one of the children predeceased her. She left a spouse. So by intestate succession, I think that spouse is entitled to the share of the 13th kid. The administrators seem to unilaterally decide that she understands the probate law or the intestate succession law, and that she can exclude that person from the estate. And also, she seems to not understand that the property has descended to the heirs already. And that if she intends to sell the property, she has two ways of doing it. One being bringing a petition that states that it's necessary to pay the debts of the estate, and the other being bringing a petition for a partition. She seems to think that she's empowered to sell it. I really don't know, but regardless, it seems that partisanship would preclude Roanna Ash from distributing this estate in good faith.
I think she's filed an appraisal. So far, it looks like it's worse than administering the state. She's filed the appraisal. Usually we don't get that for. I think that's what we're here to make sure that the state is being administered properly. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, on one level, it's not. I mean, effectively, it's not. To the extent that heirs are, an heir is missing off of the appraisement paperwork. And it seems that she's decided that because she doesn't have a personal interest with that heir does not need to be amended onto the appraisement when she was informed of that fact. I'm saying this, I think that is emblematic of an inability to be impartial or to administer the state in a way that's a good faith dealing for all of the heirs involved, not just those that she feels are worthy or didn't murder her mother, essentially. I checked with the county clerk before the hearing, and there have not been any files yet, or any claims filed yet, although the claims period does not expire until the middle of August. It seems that the house is the primary asset of the estate. She's barricaded the house and given certain heirs access to the house while excluding other heirs, claiming rampant theft, even though there are cameras they've installed cameras supposedly to monitor, and the value of the personal property is de minimis. It's an old lady's home. The personal property doesn't add up to anything. So they're using this as a pretext, Your Honor, or excuse me, Your Honor. They're using it as a pretext. It's just custom, they're using it as a pretext, I think, to control the property at the exclusion of the rest of the heirs. And I think that pretends poorly at the ability to manage the estate going forward. There's a very complicated action that they're never going to get all the signatures that they need to sign to sell the property. There's going to be a complex piece of litigation. I mean, a partition suit or a suit to cover the debts of the estate. It's going to be complicated, and just deciding that doing it ad hoc in a way that tries frankly, I don't think that there's any interest in actually selling the home. I think the idea is that they want to tie it up so that they can control it for, and allow it to be effectively held by the son of the heir that they've chosen. And we have pictures of them posting notices that say, we've secured the home. And if you need in, you need to contact me or one of the heirs that are on their side. Well, we also have pictures of various,
Do you want to enter those into the record?
possibly, yeah, let's see. But we also have pictures of other heirs being there recently as yesterday, day before yesterday.
Yes, those aren't even heirs.
For instance, this picture depicts the girlfriend of the person they've decided, that the nephew that they've decided they want to have the house. The nephew's girlfriend and her brother, who's recently, I think a felon, recently released from prison. Is this-
That's Sonia, my sister. That's her ex-boyfriend. He's at the home. Larry Davis.
Meanwhile, and where are these two pictures?
That's mom's, that's on mom's porch. Those are the kids that's been there. But the home is supposed to be locked up for security purposes, but they come and go as they please.
Meanwhile, they exclude Denise and,
Into the record.
yes.
Yes, please.
Please let the record reflect that.
And here are notes that have been posted, and Miss Ash, the current administratrix, also attempted to evict Madeline, who's one of the heirs. Who's one of the heirs. Like I said, it's been living in a shed attached to the house. I've convinced them not to do that, but they've excluded her from the house to the point where she's been using the plumbing inside the house because there's no plumbing in the shed. She uses a bucket,
Porta potty.
a porta potty,
Yes.
because she lives right beside the house, and Ryan claims that she has been stealing couch legs from the property. So
I have 6 photos. Dated June 3rd with a notice, and the 24th with the notice, and other photo June 12th. 3 photos, and July 13th photos.
ultimately, I don't think that the state can be administered in a proper manner, mostly due to just favoritism. I think it's going to be a very expensive process for the estate later on if we allow things to continue in the way that they are now, because Roanna seems to think that she's been given Miss Ash has been given some sort of power over the estate that she doesn't have, and she wants to use it to put selected members of the family in positions where they can control the home and the property at the exclusion of other heirs.
She gave my nephew a key to the home. He was allowed to go in and from the home, but they stated that things were being stolen. Why would they be allowed to go inside the home when things are being stolen? Each of them have keys, and I do not. My other sister Madeline don't have keys. My sister Kimmy don't have keys. But they are allowed to come and go as they please, and they have access to the cameras. We do not. They have the cameras pointed at the building that Madeline lives in, because I really don't know why. They're keeping an eye on her, and they do not come. They don't check on the home. The only thing they come and check on is the cameras. That's it. They have not taken care of the home as far as I know of. They did come and Jeremy came and cut the grass yesterday, and that's all they've done. Did that there.
I think that's all we have at this point.
We have, yes, not for this side.
For this side?
No.
We'll have Madeline if she would like to speak.
Yeah, I'll do that. I don't know.
Yes, so what-
Yeah, actually, you need to raise your right hand.
Me too.
Do you two swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God in this matter?
I do.
I have been there beside my mom for almost 16 years. I have been in and out of the house. They have treated me so inhumane. They have boarded me out of the house. Won't give me water. I asked my brother Michael to give me water. He told me no. He was tired of being nice. I'm 64 years old. I gotta go to neighbors to get water when I've been there for over 16 years with my mom. And Roanna, excuse my language, told me, she said, I come down to serve the cunt her eviction notice. And there is, my niece is not here, but there was a video of her calling me that. I mean, they hate me for some reason. And they've got their little 7 of them back there, all together. And I don't need to be treated like I'm an inhumane person. I am a person that's been there. I am their family. I am one of the heirs.
That's all we have for right now.
We have a response to the petition for removal of the administrators of this state, which was filed by Anna Ash. She has several witnesses on her list. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how we're gonna do you all.
Well, we have all the people who are gonna testify, stand up,
Right.
introduce themselves, give their addresses, and then we'll swear them all in at once, and then they can go down the line or how they want to do it.
Okay.
Everybody's gonna testify, stand up. Let's just start here, sir, please.
Go down the line and give us your name and your address.
Stand up if you're gonna testify. Give us your name, full legal name and address, please.
I'm Brian Keith Cochran. I live in South Worthington. My address is 239 Chieftain Way, Worthington, West Virginia.
I'm Sonia Cochran. I live at 235 Cynthia Lane, Petersburg, West Virginia.
Melody Cochran.
Don't worry about that.
I live, my address is 1950 Way, Shinston.
Michael Cochran, and address is 312 Park Street, Parksburg, West Virginia.
I'm Shayla Ann Campbell, 3959 Ravenwood Drive, Warren, Ohio.
Number and Ash, I live in Bridgeport, West Virginia.
What's your,
916 Millville Road is my address.
you already, oh, I'm sorry.
Bradley Cochran. 1740 Adams Avenue, Parksburg, West Virginia.
I just didn't want her to have to write the addresses down.
Can I get a point of, is there any chance I could take a look at that response? Because we were never provided a response.
Certainly, you can set my copy. How many total errors are there?
12.
12.
Well,
12.
well, I mean,
I understand your point on the one, but I was just curious.
Okay, will you all raise your right hand?
Sure, no.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God with this matter?
I do.
Yes, I do.
I just gotta keep myself straight. That's Mrs. Watts. And you live there now?
Yes.
Okay.
I have pictures and I've got all the administrative stuff, if you all would like to see it. And I'm not keeping nobody off the property. It was locked up because she stole the TV out of our mother's home.
You all
And
don't have to stay.
He's the witness. She returned it to him. She ordered the couch legs to be removed by our niece, Joanne Cochran. I didn't evict her off of the property, but I wanted her out of the building that she had been living in for 15 or so years. She has lived off of our mother. Our mother paid all of the bills, the gas bill, the electric bill, the water bill. She was doing our mom's house. Use my mom's utilities, the washer, she would keep running all the time. My mother paid, and I've got the bank receipts to prove it. And she has been using that pot ever since she has been in that building. She had 22 cats in that building that she just recently removed. I have photos. They went in there and destroyed one of my mom's floors, scratched it all up looking for a throw that her mother-in-law made our mother, and she went searching for it. And there is a note on the door. My brother just recently gave Madeline Watts hot water. I've got videos of it all. And I've got a picture of her flipping us off, calling us, I'm sorry, I don't know if I should say it or not, calling us effers. I've got, you want to see the, and there's a pile of cat litter on our mother's bank where she has put from all those cats. They don't bother to clean it up. Sonia Cochran comes in to keep our mom's house clean. Michael goes down to check the cameras, and there are druggies that lives next door, I mean, within walking distance of our mother's home. I've got a picture of him trying to get in the house at 10 o'clock one night. Sonia comes in, she keeps the house clean. She cleans it because I don't have time to do it. I live in Bridgeport. I have, I go down when I have to go down to look at stuff. And we out of our own pocket paid for the appraisal to be done because we didn't know how much our mother's home was. And our mother does have bills that needs to be paid. Credit card bills, the loan on her home. Before our mother passed away, Denise Betty took all of our mother's bills down to the house illegally, opened them up. She even called the credit card companies and had them canceled. I have been trying to get a hold of them. And I've got proof that you all want to see. I've got everything in these folders here. Pictures. Everything. I mean, they are welcome to come in when someone's there because we can't trust them. There's nothing personal in that home that belongs to them. We ourselves have not taken nothing out of that home. The couch that I gave my mother, she ordered the legs to be removed off of it. And I can't get those back. If we have to sell it, I can't sell it. But I'm trying to do everything right by our mom. And she did get an order on me, and I've got the paper. It was a protective order. She said that I was down on May the 16th doing it. I was home. I've got the receipts. I went to Walmart. I stopped at Sheets and went home and worked on flowers. I was down there making wreaths for her mom's grave. I've got pictures of those too.
I attempted to work this out in any way. It doesn't sound like it's going to be possible, but I just
I
haven't
mean-
been asked. There's no way that you can try to work this out.
Everybody, but those two, I mean, I don't know what they want. I mean, the house is gonna have to be sold because we've got debts, my mom's got debts we've got to pay. The credit card, I mean, I can't even get a hold of some of the credit cards, information. But if you would like to see everything, I have it right there. Everything.
You get a chance.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm not sure. What else? I have one more thing to say too. We also have a recording of her having meth in that building. She talked about a big ball she's had in there. People, they were wanting to sell it.
I just here again, I don't know, but that's what we're here for because you all, or they can't get along. I believe we're here due to the administration of the state. Can you correct me if I'm wrong?
That's correct.
Mr. Snyder?
Let me ask
Do
a
you have
question.
any-
Can I ask a question, see if I can speak up?
Sure.
Do all of the individuals who are sitting to my left want Brianna Ash to continue to be the administratrix of the estate?
Yes.
Yes, we did. Because I think she's doing a good job. Sorry about speaking out, but I think she's doing a good job. We don't try to keep everybody out of mom's house. I go
I
down
mean,
there.
I just don't want you all to have to go into everything here. in a public meeting.
She's doing the best she can.
I'd like to make one statement. I'm her son. I haven't seen my mother for a long time. She got sick. Left home, I left home. But they called me when my mother was sick. So I went to see her. Okay, and my mom told me a few wishes on her deathbed or whatever you want to call it. One thing was for sure, she told us about the gas, which is a whole different ballgame, where she had to pay the bills and 3 people's on her gas. We had to let her put her trailer down there. And she was not the medical power of attorney for my mother. That is a known fact. We've got it on paper, a medical report from Ruby. All right, there's a lot of things going on. I don't want to get
Here
into the
again,
house.
sir, I don't
Let's
mind.
not get.
That's, we don't, yeah, we don't, that has
But I
nothing.
understand, but she's doing what we asked her to do, and we read the code. You gotta lock, the house should have been locked up from day one. I have not been there. I was in there the day we took my mother to the hospital with my aunt, but I never went back, other than to meet him down there for Reese on the porch.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
I know,
think,
but man, this is just,
but then I don't think
it's-
we need to hear all this.
it's really
I
bad.
don't think we need to get into all this. David, do you have anything you'd like to?
Settle the situation.
No, I don't think anything we do today will settle the situation, to be perfectly honest with you. So, and I personally, I mean, I understand there are personal issues. But as far as the administration of the estate so far, she has been doing what she's supposed to do. But from what I can see,
I've got.
I understand what you're saying. I get it, but she's qualified, she's posted it on, she's done the appraisal. Now we just have to wait for the estate to take its course before she takes the next action.
I guess at this point, the only thing I would say is that if we can't start communicating on an equal footing and start treating each other like we're going to eat the entire estate in litigation.
Well, and it doesn't matter, again, I think that's gonna happen irregardless of what happens here
Probably.
today. So,
Have they given you a copy of the appraisal?
No,
I just,
But
I mean, we have the appraisement that was filed
the
with.
appraisement, but they also indicated an appraisal was
Yeah.
performed by the residents. You don't have a copy of that?
no,
You do not have a copy?
no, they wouldn't. Sir, I don't mean to interrupt, but I just got that, so I haven't, nobody gets a copy yet.
Well, just give it to all of them, please.
I have to make copies.
Okay.
And it's a thick one, so, but yes, I just got it. That's why nobody has a copy. And I've got it right here. I just got it
I just would
Saturday.
like to let y'all know, if you guys can't work it out, when you want them back to us, the next step is we'll turn it over to the sheriff. Turn it over to the sheriff. He doesn't take any of this stuff that you guys are doing with each other. He takes, if you break the law, you break the law. If you don't supply the information, but you have to give it over to the sheriff. You all probably are not going to be real happy. So I would suggest that you try to work this out, or on the other option is to let the sheriff take it over.
can I get a
Doesn't make
suggestion?
them happy when we do this.
Can I get a suggestion that these 2 areas be provided keys and locks on the property?
I mean, I think you need to work this out
Mhm.
amongst yourselves, try to, and that's a good point, Mr. Hinkle. Back to that, I mean, we could do that.
I mean, that's what we're leaning towards.
That's, I don't know if that'll help the
Madeline have
situation.
access
So
to-
I'm willing to,
At least wash her clothes.
I mean, to be frank, the law's been out there at least twice to my knowledge, just based on conflicts between the parties.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they was.
But I, again, we'll entertain a motion with this matter, however. Let the sheriff continue as.
I mean, if that motion is if we can table, if we can put that motion on the table right now, we would put that motion on the table. Okay. No, I'm saying I'd ask for consideration on that. That should be a point. But otherwise, I think there could be lawlessness. A strong opportunity for it.
It's just a simple saying. None of us, at least I don't have keys. Most of us don't have keys.
I don't have key.
There's only a few of them that has keys. And the only reason I stayed at mom's last night is because I stayed with Sonia. I'm out of state.
Sonya's out of state too.
Well, she's in West Virginia.
She's
I
2
do my
hours
house,
away.
clean the house, and then I mow grass too. We
Yeah.
take care of the
Okay,
state.
here we go again. We don't want to go down this path.
Okay.
We don't want to go down it. That's not why we're here.
Okay.
We're here to see that this estate gets administered properly.
We're gonna keep on.
Please.
I'm sorry to,
Yes, I do.
I'm sorry to inconvenience the county.
I forgot all about that. I was thinking about everything else but that, but thank you.
Motion for the sheriff to.
Motion's been made for the sheriff to be appointed to the estate of Thelma Pauline Hawk. No. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. We'll do an order.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. By
Thank
the
you.
way, this is Trace Zimmerman.
I'll get in touch with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners.
And notify the sheriff.
Question, what happens if
The sheriff will be appointed
And then in contact.
and he'll be in contact with you to get whatever you have and discuss what's happened so far. I think that's what he does. I can't tell you for sure, but
will the estate still be sold?
Yeah, he
Oh,
does
yeah.
everything.
Yeah, he'll make
Okay,
sure
because
that
it needs sold, because
it would.
our mother has bills that needs paid.
We'll ask for all that, and then we'll do whatever, and then disperse funds as per the.
Now, I don't have them all. The rest of them, he's gonna have to get from her. She's got to, you know,
I'll be glad.
Ready to transfer it
I'll be
over
glad to do
to the sheriff. Just get it in order.
I've got everything. I can just hand it over to him right here. I come prepared. I mean, I had to keep everything right here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we've done now. I'm sorry, one last question. Our mother still has some personal stuff in the home, her personal stuff. Does it still stay like her
Well, the
clothes?
sheriff will deal with that.
Okay,
They will do an inventory and take care of what's there.
thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, 10:40, we had a funding request from Lost Creek Community Festival. I talked to Mr. Watson this morning. He's called here. You guys are not, he was unable to make it. I didn't see a problem. That's why I told him I didn't think anybody. Entertain a motion.
Motion approved based on whatever the tax practice is.
It's a funding request for how much?
2,000.
The motion's been made to fund the request of $2,000 for the Lost Creek Community Festival. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, I share number 6 as being the next exoneration corrective tickets A through D. What's the question?
to approve.
Motion to approve A through B under exoneration, correct? Okay, exonerations, A through D. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next is number 7. Requisition, project fund requisition for Charles Point Economic Opportunity Development District. We have A, requisition for payment for number 24 with excavating, and B, requisition for payment number 24 Genesis Partners, member partnership. $281,136.41. The other was $14,056.82.
Motion to move forward.
Motion to move forward with the requisitions under 7A and B. Any further discussions? Not all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? None. Motion carried. Number 8 is the same project fund requisitions for the General Services Administration Building Project. Harrison County Commission. There's only one requisition, number 31, Civil and Environmental Consultants, Inc. for $563.60. What's the pleasure on number 8A?
Motion to move forward.
Motion to move forward on number 8A, the requisition for $563.60. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay, number 9, review, discuss, consider Parks and Rec update.
We're here.
Come, you're up.
We're up. We're in the midst of our summer playground program season. We operate 6 playground programs and 2 Energy Express sites. We have 503 kids registered online for the summer playground program. Another 50 that just with paperwork, they just won't do the computer work. There's 91 participants in Energy Express this year. So that's a pretty busy day. You know, our main focus has to be with the children. Of course, we're always putting out fires. It's a long day. We're a 10-hour day that we have the kids. We start at 7, we're done at 5:30 to 6. Food distribution takes a lot of time. We have breakfasts at 7:30 and lunch at 11:30. Some have to be delivered. That falls on Doug and Donna, usually on the delivery part, filling in as needed on things. Harrison County is all free and reduced lunch. So you can imagine parents are faced with suddenly needing food. So that's one reason we got involved with this. You know, the food program it's a pain to work with, but it's needed. These kids look forward to these meals. Sometimes those 2 meals are what they're getting for that day. I know some people look at us and say we're a babysitting service. In some manners we are, but we're there for the kids. You know, most of the kids, that's their summer. You know, they're not going to the beach, not going to Disney World. You know, they're with us for the summer. So of course, you know, I've been around for enough years that I consider it an important program. Numbers were a little overwhelming this year. The school board added a summer program from the COVID money, and we really didn't know what to expect. And we were kind of surprised, like when 2 buses pulled up at the Compton Park from Bridgeport and dropped off about 60 kids on us from that program. So we had to readjust. You know, the hiring's been going on. Ongoing a little bit. We've had a tough time with staffing. We have 57 on staff right now. That sounds like a lot, but we have 2 shifts going. So with a 10-hour day, there's more than 2 6-hour shifts in that respect. So that's our ratio is about 1 to 18 with the student participants to the leaders, and that's not bad. I'd like to do more, but that's about all we got. Hiring was extremely difficult. We did not even fill the slots that we could have for Energy Express. We just didn't have the people. Part of it is COVID related. We couldn't go to the colleges and high schools to actively recruit this year. I think that made a difference. Many places, fast food, the businesses have been hunting for employees. Why they're not winning jobs, we don't know. We were in competition with places that are paying more than us. They're offering $18 an hour to work at Sheetz. They're so desperate. Our Burger King down from us couldn't even open for breakfast. They couldn't find enough workers to open breakfast time. So that's a little bit of what we've been faced with that deal. We've got into bidding wars. We had Panera that took one of our workers away, their original hirings. They kept upping his money until he stayed with them instead of sharing the job with us. They were just desperate to have somebody there. So that competition for workers was different this year. Never faced that. Hopefully this is a different year, and it won't be. Vacations and sick days have been a lot of problems. We have 2 that went on vacation this week and didn't bother telling us. And that's happened all through the summer. I had 3 mentors in Energy Express missed last week. Their sickness, it was all valid, but I've never had 3 days missed the whole summer sometimes. So we just have to put out these fires and make our arrangements and different things along the way. Hiring for maintenance didn't really work very well. Didn't want to work, couldn't work. A little bit of everything. Any skill level wasn't there. Weeding was even a problem sometimes. I know we consider Doug a force of nature, but he can weed our facility faster than 4 of them could in a day.
Thanks, Mike. He's gonna have a new job.
Yeah, so he's that force of nature to do the weed eating and stuff like that. But it's not, and we're not complaining. None of this is beneath us. We've been doing garbage. We've been doing weed eating. We've been trimming. We've been, just the last 2 weeks, we've mowed, weed eat, garbage pickup daily at our places. We built bleachers. We worked on the volleyball standards. We removed the storm damaged trees. Had to cut back the nature trail. We demolished the dugouts in the park. So we're going to keep on with these projects as best we can on all these. Project wise at the different places to update with things. Of course, maintenance, we know that just between the turn grass, there's enough to keep them hopping all the time. But so we've been trying to concentrate on what we can accomplish. We didn't have a truck available to us. We can't do that kind of thing. We went to Summit Park. It was a place that had too many of the safety concerns that we worked at. We built 2 dugouts there. We tied fence up. We put some safety top rail on the fences. We tore down that dugout. The first field you come to, we worked with a group and we got it in nice shape. It's a nice playable shape now for a softball field. Worked well
Did
with
we
that.
forget about the rest of it?
Pardon?
Did we forget about the rest of that part?
No, we've been up on the top field. That's where we had to tie down a bunch of fences. We re-bolted all the bleachers to make them safe for both fields. On the top field now, we tied up the fences and we've been changing top rail. We put the safety things. It looks like a drainage pipe.
When did you do that?
It's been done all through the course of things. The dugout was just tore down this week. So we just got
I was
that.
there last week and didn't see much.
We got that, working at that too. We have plans. We will keep on going with things. We will keep some of our staff on as August comes in. The summer program is end of this month, and the ones that are capable, we found a couple capable workers. Of the original ones, there's probably about 4 of them that are fairly good, and a couple more that could work with us as long as we're out there with it. Where we at now? Upper field is probably where you've seen deal there. We've got a lot of things we want to rebuild those dugouts. We've got to do some work on that backstop there. What else is on that one? The back fence, yeah, that's where it was drainage problems back there, mainly had the fence go down, so we had to redo on part of that. Again, we did repair the bleachers. We're gonna have to dig up the field and mix the turbines into it like we did on the first field you come to make it a more playable situation. And basically, soccer was up there and they're gone now. We'll have a chance to work on that before they come back. On the lower field, now we're going to turn that more into soccer. With that league's help, we're going to do bleachers to get the parents closer to the field because they'll have multiple fields down there at the soccer location. Some will be maintenance assist. We're building the bleachers. We can build them, but we'll have to have them transported and carried in place there at Summit Park. The brush hogging back in the back of it, provide fencing along the back of the far end, just to keep balls from over the hill, basically. And that'll be a cheap portable fencing that we'll put back there. Cheap, not really work, but inexpensive type fencing. But you can jump in on any of this stuff as we go. Spelter Park, We need the Gaga pit is done. Maintenance did a great job on the two Gaga pits and the sand volleyball court. They're very, very nice, and they're getting a lot of use already of things. But Spelter, we've got some swings to replace. We need a maintenance assist a little bit on putting some of the swing stuff in. Replace the wood borders, that kind of stuff we can do. Picnic tables, replace the boards on the current benches, we can do that kind of stuff. Fresh paint we can do. So we'll try to break this down to what we can accomplish versus getting Greg's crew to help with us on things. Good Hope, no, we're at a place of Good Hope where it's going to need a lot of maintenance help. We've got a backstop to work on. We've got bleachers that need to be reseated. We want those pulled out. We've got new ones to put in, and we're going to have some land work. The basketball court is, we got the place ready to go, but we have to have land work done to do it. 30 by 30 court back there. So the maintenance will have to help with that. We want to build the fence in the back. They're off of it now, so we'll be able to build that fence and get the outfield fence like we want with the plywood structures going on there. Seating in dugouts, we've got that here. All this stuff's been ordered and it's in our garage. The backstops, the bleachers, the dugout seats, all that kind of stuff is there and ready to go. And we'll keep putting together. Current swing set needs replaced. Some ADA friendly items for it and all abilities.
Has it been ordered by
Which one now?
the swing set?
We have quotes in for it.
So it'll be ready to go. We're pretty well jammed full of stuff in the garage until we get some more stuff out.
Yeah.
Has Fernandez started the basketball court?
Yeah, we need to get, he already knows, it's just a timing issue now of what, because he's been pretty busy with work and getting that 30 by 30 area dug out and get it prepped before he just come in and do his floor work with it.
The backstop for walls is in. We've got the walls, those are in, ready to go up whenever we have time. Again, that's a little beyond us. We'll be glad to help in whatever we can, but we'll need some expertise in digging and construction on that kind of things.
How about the basketball court walls? Yeah, resurfacing it.
We've been calling, there's a couple people I've been speaking to about that. There's an outfit out of Ohio that specializes in that stuff. Again, I mean, they've just been so overwhelmed. It seems like all these government dollars are coming in, that all these parks should get the opportunities to do the same thing we're in right now. We're just kind of in the waiting line with that. So.
Of course, this golf course, we thank you for going above and beyond with it. He'll be ready to start on that, and that a little more money than what we wanted on that, but he's doing all the work. And it was really hard accessible areas to do that. We're on hillsides and stuff, so it'll be well worth it them doing that end of things. Some of that was just a little beyond what they did.
How about the center field fence? Good Hope, is the material order?
No, it'll be bought locally. It's gonna be the plywood stuff. When soon we're ready to work on that, we'll get stuff.
And we'll probably get that in pieces. We'll just probably have just order the posts and have the post all mounted or concrete into the ground, and then we'll start with the plywood sheets, and then we'll just kind of take it in phases like that, because it's kind of sad we're not in a trusting world where we can leave 80 sheets of plywood and a bunch of 4x4s and not see it, they can disappear a day later. So
Plywood sheets costing $60+ a piece. You can't leave that around anymore. Ridiculous.
By March 1st, 2022, we'll be literally filled.
Oh, yeah. It'll be ready this fall. Of course, that's what Greg's help.
And let me ask this, Speller, does it still have the trailer?
Yes.
What is the plan on that? Anybody know? Laura, anybody?
We're working on getting it removed. The bank, I believe, sold it to a collection company.
I'm trying to
Give them
take.
notice that we're going to move out the middle of the street. 60 days or something.
Sure, can you take that, like David said, like you can a car to it, like the time, place to charge rent every day?
I need to know the bank, I need to know who they sold it to, we need to get a notice before we just go ripping somebody's property out of there.
Or can you do that for him?
Yes.
But I can follow up on it. I've never pulled a trailer out of a public park before, so we've got to take a look at it. Before we just do it, but we'll figure it out.
Like the 57 boys and girls that you hired, are any of them grass cutters, weed eaters after?
We've got a few that are gonna be able to do
Yeah,
it.
we've been kind of doing some feelers out there that, well, the previous ones that we did hire, that did help out with some of these projects before we got wrapped up into the parks program where they went to their sites to work. When they get done, I've been kind of spoon feeding to see who would want to come back and who doesn't want to come back. And I figure we'll probably have, again, a staff of 10 or 11 go in and,
Some will be around their school schedules or their college or, some evenings, weekends, whatever times. And they'll have a varied schedule too. They'll have 2:30, 3, however it works out.
How much longer is Energy Express?
Until July, but
everything. All the 5 of the sites will shut down January 30th, and then we'll extend the one at the rec complex till for 2 more weeks.
So you think that maybe August 1st, you'll have 5 willing, able-bodied workers to help us get moving? You don't think so? do you?
Sure. I'm staying optimistic. about
we
it.
have to stay optimistic. Scott, the weed eaters, we spent more time fixing the weed eaters because we couldn't get the line in right. And things like that. It's just a constant battle. These guys have never done anything like this. So hopefully it's a learning curve that they'll catch on a little bit more. We got a couple more and odd things, like we had one good worker that's a river guide, and he'll stay on with us 3 days a week. But he couldn't cut it one period because his allergies were so bad, he couldn't do anything. Now he's able, that season's over, so he's able to get out there with the cutter now. He was the one cutting down our trees that we had a lot of storm damage. Up on the hillside. That's the deal, so we had to cut down some trees. Chop them up.
Did we use any of our parks for this Energy Express?
We're at our place, Energy Express is at 2 schools, is at West Norfolk and Northview. So it's a school based use inside of the classroom on that. Then we have playground programs at those sites too.
Yeah, I thought I heard you say something about Bridgeport.
Bridgeport's in Compton Park, where it's
What we have is that at the beginning of the year, we were approached by the Board of Education that they're having this summer program, and involving it was recreation. So they wanted to get with us in a collaborative to use a couple sites, one in Shinston and one at Compton Park in Bridgeport. So they will go through their school activities from 8 a.m. till noon, and right after lunch, they have public transportation that drops off kids to the Compton Park on John Calvin and then Ferguson Park up in Shinston. From there was about, I think 90 kids registered at the Bridgeport site with Johnson and then with Bridgeport Middle. And then with Big Allen and with Lincoln Middle, I think there was about 65 kids. So that was one of the caveats that we didn't expect until the last second. And then like I said.
there's also another forts in that deal.
And another force involved.
So at the Bridgeport Park, those kids mostly come from Bridgeport School District.
Most, but they also have, there's animal kids, there's even some
Also
FBI kids.
Bridgeport School District, but I guess I'm confused as why Bridgeport's Park and Rec is not handling the program in their own parks, and why the county is handling this.
They actually have their surveillance work teachers, they don't handle them and express food wise. Because like Northview Park, I was a park teacher, but then somebody came in and fed the kids.
But the other place that said Patsy was in Shinston, again, it's a city and that they have a parks
Yeah.
department.
They do, but what I'm saying is they don't handle the food.
They don't, none of those places have summer playground programs.
Right.
Correct.
Of course, we're the county, so you get in that argument that Bridgeport's for other county and that, and the things too.
Oh, we're not doing it at any of our county parks.
We used to do it at Summer Park.
We used to do it so far. The neighborhood
Somebody
does,
questioned me about that.
well, there's gonna be a few questions, but there isn't any kids there. They're young, they're not there, they're
I
going.
was
just
questioned
said they
about
were
the Summer Park.
But you just said they were bused in. Why can't the kids from Bridgeport and the other areas be bused in Summit Park?
They don't. Well, I mean, that's just for that particular program, and that's probably something that's not gonna happen next year.
Because there'll be one more year supposed to.
Oh, is it? Because that's under that SOLS program.
And we could, and that is something to make the improvements, we'll be meeting at the end of these programs, there's in here in a little bit. And that could be a good suggestion. Why couldn't we bus there instead? I don't see why they couldn't.
You got a nice pavilion.
Yeah, I don't see why they couldn't be bus there.
All the comments, again, like what Susan said, Summit Park. I don't know who walks around Summit Park, but walk on the backside of the playground, equipment up on top, there's been graffiti again. The one down the lower ball field, it's disgusting, it hasn't been power washed forever.
And the grass. When I was there.
And there's the people of Summit Park would like to use the park this weekend, and they'd love to see the grass cut.
We're gonna use it.
They're there today cutting grass.
And then when I go down to Spelter, again, playground equipment has ever been power washed. I don't know when the last time, we've got plastic bubbles that were in the playground equipment that are broke out, not replaced.
And you have absolutely no arguments from us, but you realize our staff is Doug and I, and
This stuff's not just happened this year, this stuff's been like this for years. That's my complaint. It's just not happened overnight.
no, it hasn't. And
Same
I'm
way
not,
with the gravel and the stuff around down at Spelter, it's just been ignored.
the last commission took the maintenance staff away from parks and said, you guys are programmers and maintenance is handling the maintenance at the parks. Now, that has changed and we realize it has changed, but we have to catch up to that. Yeah, it was like that, but that's what we were told.
And basketball court, it's on the park team recovered, it's coming off. I'm not gonna go down through the list of the things that are wrong. I think everybody knows. I'm personally tired of waiting for staff. I think some of these projects are big enough that I think we're trying to step over money to save money. This is going to cost us money in the long run. And I think in some of these cases, we just need to hire people that do this kind of stuff for a living and get it done. Otherwise, got staff trying to do bridges, cut grass,
Somebody
taking
come
care of
back with some
buildings.
numbers.
But just that needs to go out for bid. I mean, we're just,
Well, I think it would be.
it's just that we're so spread out with all these projects that we want to get done. I just, we'll be sitting there talking about this again next year. And I was with people last night that baseball fields, they're crying for them because all the baseball fields in this county are now being used for tournaments from out of state. And there is no baseball fields for the kids here in the county to use. We've got 5 baseball fields. If you go turn one into a soccer field, fine, but we have 4 baseball fields that can't be used. So we're not stepping up to the plate for the citizens of Harrison County to supply them with this stuff. These cities that want to have tournaments, that's their business. But you know, we're cutting the kids off from playing ball around here. Oh, that's Sarah.
Yeah, thank you for all you guys do. I mean, it's a lot. We got a lot of responsibility. We have somebody's child, it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, there's a lot with that. I personally do not disagree. Anything that it could be better money spent to hire the people who know what they're doing. It really could.
Don't know who the carpenter was. I don't want to know whoever built the dugouts over at Spelter, but Summit Park. I don't want to see a camera back in their hand. That's all I'll say. Whoever did it, just don't let them have a hair.
Thanks, Matt. Mark, thank you. right, thank you. Will you guys let us know if you get anybody?
Sure.
Please.
And I feel the frustration between, I mean, I wish we could work together and figure out what maintenance is doing what, who's doing what. That's, and I think you're trying. I do. I hope you're trying. Right.
We'll talk about this other issue, Susan, the advisory board. Let's see, it's on the agenda.
I see that we discuss, consider Parks and Rec update from moving on.
This is just to make you aware of some of the expired positions
okay.
and what we would like to do just to renew their positions. I believe at one point in time, they were all expired, correct, gentlemen? And so we're going to stagger them. They're all willing to be back on.
Nobody's position expires when we appoint somebody. Until they've been reappointed, so that didn't happen.
So this just lets us know when they're to be.
I think we need to sit down as a group and discuss all these appointments. Some point, if that's all right.
All because they're all there.
Well, they were staggered. People appointed them.
Oh, I see what, you know.
But the issue is they stay staggered. We just never swarm back in, but I think we need to decide just where this board is going to go forward.
Okay. Number 10, update from maintenance department on various projects.
Laura sent me correspondence, we can give you updates on this as far as, I'll start with the DHHR building, or storage facility on West Pike Street. It is painted, and Laura has some pictures, so we can get them to stagger the colors so it looked a little better without getting into some of the dents and stuff like that, but it does look much better. Some of my guys saw them power washing the block. I have sent him a message to see where he's at as far as the stucco. There was a holdup on material, he said. But the fact that they were power washing the block yesterday tells me that they're starting to move forward on that, but I'll continue to follow up on that. But that should be getting wrapped up pretty soon, hopefully.
Is the foundation okay? Is it just cosmetic? Is that-
It's more cosmetic.
I just want to make sure we take care of those problems.
Yeah, well, as a matter of fact, I met the engineers down there, Mr. Gola from Thrasher. And we went around the building and everything, and when we looked at that, there was a couple different fixes that we could do, but this fella come up with the stucco deal, and for the price that he gave us, it'll look nice. He's going to strip it and stucco it. The problem, once he does that, if they don't, we will seal on that concrete pad in the back where all the AC units are. There's cracks, and since that was really the main employee entrance, my guess is that was very heavily salted, and that salt water has gone down the cracks because it wasn't sealed. It's got in the, and it's just eating the blocks. So he is gonna work with that and fix it. I'll keep an eye on that, but it will look much better. And if need be in the future, we could where that wall is, we could put a steel beam through there. That's what Mr. Gola and I talked about, running parallel to the back road, and just put a support in the back and a support in the front. And because that concrete's heavy, the AC units, but that will make that wall irrelevant. So we'll see how the stucco holds up, but we will keep it. We were going to try to use hydraulic cement or something ourselves and try to, patch that up, and then maybe strip it and put some metal on it to make it look better aesthetically since you all own it. But I think this type of thing, you know, it's kind of one of the things that this fellow specializes in, so we'll see how it goes. But,
Plans for garage door.
that the sheriff expressed that interest to me, and I'm still not sure of the logistics there, who's doing what, but I know budget wise, how that fits into where he's at, I'm not sure. Again, Mr. Gola and myself looked at that possibility, and that can happen. That can happen. We just need to get some cost. And the sheriff's been taking care of a lot of that stuff, so I'm more than happy to help with it.
Thrasher got back with an actual basket on the floor. As you and Susan read the report, but all they said was the floor met 55 pounds per square foot is normal use. We paid them to go down and tell us what the actual floor was. I don't consider that an actual, I can bring that without doing studies, so part of it's on solid ground, others elevated, but it would be nice to know the actual capacity of the floor.
Mr. Gola should have that information. I know he was gonna do the calculations. And as you said, if you're on Pike Street, the left side of that, where the sheriff wanting to put the garage door is on solid ground. It's the other side where there was parking underneath. So I do know that Mr. Gola was down there, and we pulled some of the ceiling down so they could measure the difference in the gaps between all the steel and do the calculations. And I think that's a 4-inch floor. And he was going to calculate that out to see. He didn't seem to think there was going to be a problem storing the furniture and materials there, but I haven't heard anything back from them on specifics.
We're planning to cut the inside of the building.
I have heard that. I don't recall where I heard it from, but I've not been asked about that. I haven't heard any details on that.
I don't know what the plan is about that.
Yeah, I mean, some of those rooms, they're big rooms, so I don't.
Racks and you got us a clerk down there, they down there now. We're only
They're
finally
still
cabinets,
not
so they still not on
Don't they have storage? Aren't they already there?
there is somewhere there.
Yeah, so I've been in the building.
I've never been in the building, so I can't say.
There are bigger rooms there, so I don't know how much there is to gain by tearing wall down, but if I'm holding tearing wall down.
Or what you can put in there.
Pardon me?
I said you have to find out what you can put in there. You don't want to put shelving on that one end, but you can't put anything on the shelving.
Right.
That's all I have on that building, I apologize for.
Roof at the public safety complex at Butterford Sheriff's Department. They did upload a couple weeks ago some of the roll roofing. They had a crane down there, and that was going to be. They wanted us to take the gate, the fence down. No, that's more work. I offered to back the truck in for them if they needed that, but they did offload the material on the roof, and they said there was a little more. So I sent correspondence to Laura and those folks and Thrasher to see what the status was, and they have all the materials, and it's looking like mid-August, maybe. The way he worded that was maybe at the latest. I responded again and said that really wasn't a good date that you all were wanting that to start moving. So since then, I've sent an email to the folks at Thrasher that's overseeing that to see if they couldn't keep the heat turned up on that to get that expedited as much as possible. So that's where we're at. We'll continue to have AC problems down there, but we're gonna be down there again today. It went out yesterday, it was frozen up. We thought it was just due to a very loose belt that wasn't moving enough stuff, but then we figured out that there was another unit that was frozen up. So we're gonna see today, since we replaced that, if it's okay, or do we need to have Casto come in since we're not certified with the Freon and stuff. That will happen a lot of times if there's a pinhole and the Freon leaks out, the unit will freeze up. So the easy fix there is they make a special stop leak, if you will, for that. You plug it into the system, it seals it up, and then you can put the Freon in, which is expensive. So you don't want to keep putting it in there and have it leak out. So we're in the middle of that. I know it's a little uncomfortable down there, but we're working on it. Any questions about it?
Thank you so much.
The bridges, I just received from Compton Metals the last figures for the post holders, and we're gonna need around 83, but I had him make 90, or I told him to proceed. If you are out that way on Route 25 to Mount Clair, the blue bridge that goes back over to Country Club, there's a smaller bridge there that's a concrete box culvert. And whoever did that in the past was what I thought we could use. It's if you will, just a metal casing that will receive the 4x4, and it's got a plate on the bottom that's bolted down. And I just thought that's where we could save a little bit of money versus on the Alpha Hill side. And I ran that by Chad, and he thought that was a good idea. So they can make those, they can powder coat them. And that was the last part of that. It's probably going to be a little more than what was said, but I had broken out the labor. So we can start probably next week. And I'm juggling a lot of things, and we'll do everything that we can. So my plan is to attack one bridge at a time and start on bridge one. And with the stringing and the materials, I'm going to use, we purchased another trailer about a year ago that's a little bigger, and we can put our materials on that for one bridge. We'll go stage it. I've contacted the folks about the port junk. We've got generators, a canopy. So, you know, it's a little easier to work out there when we do. We can put the stuff back on the trailer. We don't need to offload any material that we're not going to use. But if we leave it out there, I don't think it's going to be there. That stuff's like gold, right? So we can just take that back to the county garage and park it in the fence and go over there in the morning and get it, and take it back out and take off what we need. And that I think will make it flow better. I'm going to try to put 4 folks on there and do as much as I can myself with it. I have a concern with Bridge 4 that I'm going to get with Chad about maybe making it more narrow, because I think it's so far gone. There's no vehicular traffic over that. So we could make that walking, bicycle, whatever. I think Chad said he, 6 feet, he was good with 6 feet versus the 10 feet. I called a contact that I have with the DEP to see about any permitting that we would need to disturb the creek. That is a sensitive area. He gave me Kelly Cook, I believe, she called while we were in the meeting. I left her a message. And between Dan and Kelly, I believe there's funding for that's something they do. So that will knock a fair amount off of the estimate, including the equipment, because our excavator is not big enough and it's not going to be safe as far as we would have to reach, because that stuff is compacted. It's not safe. And I don't want anybody hurt. So we were going to look at a bigger machine, but we may not need the machine, and we may not have that cost incurred because of the DEP. So when we leave out of here, I'll call them back, so we can get started on
That'll get rid of the swirls.
that. Yeah,
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
yeah, because that stuff's packed in there. We've seen several
It is.
snakes. There's bigger trees, railroad ties. It's just all intertwined, and that's a lot of weight, especially if it's water. So I think, with the one bridge where there's the trailer, they access the other one. We planned on doing that last, so that's not any conflicts we could get worked out. But the folks doing the fiber optics haven't gone between bridge one and that one because I don't think they can figure out a good way to get across the creek over there to do it. So I haven't I know there was a concern about some of the gravel, so that was really the one spot that I saw that was it. I can take our John Deere out there and we can fix, I think it's 200 feet. We can get it fixed up, but I don't want to spend much on it if they're going to come back and finish that fiber optics. And I'll just let them figure out how to get across here. Once they do, then we can do the same thing. I'll let them worry about it. Any questions, concerns about that?
It's what people doing the fiber optic now, they can't drive across your bridge. Is that?
Yeah, we're gonna work on some signage as well. There's some up. I went out and I spray painted the bad spots. We took what Thrasher Engineering and Chad gave us, and I went out and identified the bad railroad ties that need to come out. So to make it flow, I'd like to have a couple guys, once we get started and get a rhythm down, then I can have two guys go ahead and start prepping the next one. So hopefully we can, but just like yesterday, everything in the world happened in AC and grass, and there's trucks breaking down, and so, but that's just part of life. We deal with it. That shouldn't be a problem. It's just once I get the guys there, I like to keep them there. So I'm going to have to do some pretty good massaging those people in positions. The Court Street lights, we've got cables. Laura ordered the lights, Laura or Hazel. So we had the water level out there, and we're gonna work on stringing that. I just need to get some more detail as to exactly where some of the areas are. The only thing I have a concern about is by the dentist office on the Washington Street side. There's a lot of stuff going on in that narrow spot with the canopies and the signs and stuff. So we can go so far. But there's, the dentist has the way the canopy is situated, then there's a big sign that's in the way. So we can get up there as far as we can go. And if you all want us to go around the corner by the smokers booth, if we're going to go into that cubby hole, that's all I need to know. And so we've got the stuff and we can get started on that. And hopefully that makes sense.
Smokers use that booth.
Some, yeah.
Winter pains or
Yeah, some. We run some people off on occasion, but
I'm just curious. I mean, see more smokers on the courthouse flat would work here.
makes sense.
Some like smoke out front. Well,
Yeah.
So.
ashtrays on the top of the-
I'm just not sure how we have smoke on the courthouse. But it's in
Isn't
the
it
first
supposed to be
place.
so many feet from the front door? I'd like for that to be.
Thanks for county property.
Yeah, I had plans on, in the past of getting some signs. That seems to be a very, once you start mentioning that stuff, that gets all the biggie stirred up. So, but yeah, we need to put some signs out there. We've replaced some ashtrays and stuff, and I don't
Just
think
need
many
to make
people have.
sure we're legally in the.
Right.
where they should be.
Right.
Just like you said, can it even be on?
Yeah, really the main complaints I hear is from the folks that don't smoke, having to walk when it's closer to the building to walk through it, or it gets, there's a siphon effect, like from the Third Street door when we were using it, and anybody smoking out there and just sucked it through the whole first floor.
I'd like it down the stairwells.
Yeah.
I don't think it's in. Cell over the annex. We can use.
Bend it out.
Any other input, questions, concerns, direction? As far as the new building, really the only thing that we've got to hash out, Laura is gonna work with you all, and we've been working with everybody. It's just that whole First Energy thing. So, but they're moving along. Those guys are, I mean, it's amazing how fast the steel's going up. I've been going every day, working close with Denny, just making sure we, you know, what has to be done is getting done, and nothing more than we need. But I was pretty optimistic that once we got all that dirt issue out behind us, that this steel was going up. So
Steel's going up.
yeah, those fellows are pretty good. The guy that's in charge is a younger guy, but he's got a crew that travels with him, and yeah, they're a well-oiled machine. And they were talking about, since some of this groundwork got them backed up a little bit, they were talking about putting an additional steel crew on. The only thing, we made a good point of contact. Danny and myself went over, we saw one of the maintenance guys because the other folks aren't there anymore. The lady and her husband or whatever, they were, yeah. So there's the lady that's in charge is from Ohio. I've got her point of contact, and we went over and assured her that we'll do anything we can to work with them within reason. Rycon is, I gave them a couple paving companies. They wanted to know who does stuff, Bear and Gary Amos, and they both came over and talked to them. They're gonna do some of the alley where you come from 2nd Street up to the basement. We're gonna go ahead and mill that, square it up, get that done. And the area where we ran the communication conduit across the road, so we can get rid of that gravel, because it bugs me. We've been out there sweeping it ourselves and hosing it, because it's getting strung in the garage, and I have issues. I don't like all the stuff in the garage. So
Before they're done.
According to Rycon, the city of Parkersburg has said they're gonna overlay Modoc, Washington, and 3rd Street when it's done. Okay. So right now, Rycon, Green River was supposed to do it. Rycon's going to go ahead and eat the cost to get it cleaned up a little bit to make it better.
One thing I'd like to see if IT can get a camera up a little higher on the building, and if we can get the feed to the public, it's great with YouTube. Watch construction.
What's that?
But yes, so then they can just go in and click and see what's going on.
Yeah.
One camera's I don't think.
I think we actually planned on 2 when we did that, and then there's different ones.
Get the weather channels to do that, and they can look at the weather and the building at the same time. Summit Park, I went over there and I saw where there was a rotted split rail fence there in front with a little bit for something. I don't know what it was, but it was a hazard. So I tore it down myself, and I had Matt and Dave come out. There was an electric issue where somebody had broken into there. So we replaced the box, the outlets, and another weather cover over it. So that's good. And we're
What about the post when you first went?
it's fixed. We were told about it. I went and looked at it. Somebody ran into it, and then the second rail back was split almost all the way down. The good news is they knocked the concrete off the bottom, so it made it easier to fix. We didn't have to do it, but I believe it was yesterday or Monday that the guys went out, reset the 6x6, took the other one out, fixed it, and it's back up. And you're welcome. You know, you try to do stuff to make it look better. People gotta tear it up.
And we get rid of promises, get rid of that shrub there. The bead, what's going, both. Big giant.
Where?
When you go into the, up the park, and you go to the right or go up the hill, that this is growing
Oh, okay.
out of control. I don't see much.
Get the excavator out of there.
Doesn't do much for
Pull it
us,
out.
but
No.
add anything to it.
Be great to see it disappear.
Yeah, I went out and looked at some of the stuff. That big bank behind there, we did weed eat it, and man, it is just grown a bunch behind the first field. And it's very precarious because you really can't take any equipment on it. And it's, yeah, I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff growing in there. It would have, I don't know. We just try to keep up with it. That other bank where the bush is, we've looked at that. I
Does the
saw.
sheriff need to go out there and? is that what you're-
Well, I mean, some of the citizens, I did call, I told the sheriff and I called a friend or two at the state police because they were talking about some nefarious activities after hours at the pavilion. So I think that's an issue, but I don't know if it's ongoing. I haven't heard anything.
Sheriff needs to make some lines out there during the night.
It probably wouldn't hurt. We've had people, you know, get in the buildings, they hoses, electric and stuff, run to other places and. But. We've put some gravel out there. Notice that is the good thing with that truck. It just saves us so much money. Because all these places that need, you know, for basically what we pay for gravel, I'm gonna say roughly $100, you know, a load for 4 to 5 ton. We can fix a lot of stuff. And so you're not, you know, we're paying employees obviously, but it's a good deal. We're gonna pick the one bin track up. We had to take it to get a service done. It kept, was acting up. It was cutting out. And when we took it down there, I wanted to see what was going on. One of the guys said the big trailer was acting crazy when he pulled it. And I got with Wayne, and I've been campers forever. And I think basically it's just, you've got to get the trailer to ride level. And there's an adjustment on it. And I wanted to see myself, because I don't want anybody getting hurt. So when we took it, it was fine. We should be able to pick that up this afternoon or tomorrow. And then I can use that trailer Monday, maybe try to hit the ground running with the bridges or whatever. I think whatever we need to do for, well, I think I can probably have some folks working on the lights and some folks working on the bridge and try to do, because as soon as the grass isn't cut and all weedy, you know, the thing starts raining. But we'll get it figured out. The truck has 30,000 miles on it. I don't think it's a big deal. We did put 2 batteries in it, but I think they're probably gonna need replaced because everything's electric now and the truck wouldn't move. I'm sure it's an alternator problem because the alternator charges the battery. So if it's not working, the batteries, once the charge leaves, the truck's dead. And even the shifting and stuff, we didn't want to burn the transmission up. So I took the white truck and we went and took the mowers and the trailer over, and they took the dump truck and went to Summer Park yesterday afternoon. And we had the truck towed to our garage, so I'm sure we'll have it today. And other than we're having a little bit of an air issue in the annex, and I've got some furniture to get out of the basement. Just trying to maintain. We're gonna do some adjustments as Laura suggested with some of the janitorial stuff. I've got an individual that I talked to Laura about that worked for us before, Rodney Hardman. He and his dad had taken care of Rosebud forever, and he's some interest in coming back. And he took care of everything out there. He can do a little bit of everything. He would be a great asset. So we were looking at this at least the part-time stuff, he for sure will be a good asset at the garage or on the bridges or wherever, because he can do a little bit of everything. He's not just another set of hands, so. Working on that as well. We've contacted a couple cleaning services. One has already been here. Another is gonna be here Friday at 10 o'clock. I think that was Friday at 10 o'clock, so the two that we have left are ready to have a nervous breakdown. And I probably failed there. I should have sent an email probably out to all the elected officials to let them know that, you know, that we're down from 5 to 2. So if a little grace, if we could extend a little grace to the fellows that are left, it would be good, because they're trying to do the work of 3 more guys, and we're working on resolving the issue. So just please be patient. And, try to get Patrick he's trying to work on buffing some additional floors. I want to do something with the ramp between the annex and the courthouse. It looks horrible. Short of trying to get all that stripped and down in there. So I'm trying to look at some other solutions to do something with that. We're busy.
Greg, and there's no fixing the one piece of equipment that, you know, David said we got market because it's unsafe.
It's a lot of that stuff when you get it is worn out, and it's been worn out, and that's the one that the steering had come apart and then something else blew out. We're putting Band-Aid after Band-Aid after Band-Aid on it, and I had Wayne there just to get information to you all, whether Bill is going to find us something, but they have one at Fairmont that's used and didn't have a lot of hours on it, and I've got a point of contact there that if they're by Canon, but just to give you all information, but about a third of the cost of brand new, and I think it's probably 3 years old.
Greg, you got $100,000 in your new equipment line item. You know, 277 for you. Do you think it's something more important than buying that piece of equipment right now?
That would, we've got to have that, because if, you know, with the 22 miles of railroad trail that we have already, and then if we're going to add the Shinston and the Salem into that, that's going to be more. So there's a fair amount of people that use those trails, and we're trying to weed eat some and trying to get next to the trail dressed up where, you know, we could even use the vent track, but some of it you can't. Some of it you've got to have that arm. And we can take the mower that's on the back of that state road tractor and affix it to another one. The only thing we need to make sure of that whatever we get is heavy enough to handle that arm, where it's not a safety deal where it's going to upset because of the weight being out too far and the horsepower is adequate.
So the tractor you're talking about doesn't already have this on it. We're talking about taking our old one, putting it on
From Fairmont, what
it.
you say?
Paramount. So what
It
you're saying,
had one on.
it doesn't have one on it now. We would be using.
It has the arm. We would use the mower off the back. Stacy seems to think that one is fine. It's on the back of the tractor that goes behind, but the arm to go over the hill and stuff, it has one. As a matter of fact, I stopped the city of Clarksburg guy. He was coming down 3rd Street, and I stopped him and asked him about that tractor that they had to see how many horsepower it was, because it's going to take I'm saying a minimum of 60 horsepower to run that. And he seemed to think that one was about 55, and he said you had to watch. That's what they use up Lowndes Hill on the sides of the roads, the backs and stuff, the blue tractor. And they've had it for a while, but he said.
Can we get with the master negotiating down there and negotiate the tractor for us? Please get this control done.
Yeah. It
It's
was
a matter of negotiating. It's a matter of,
Gonna do the work.
well, yeah, but Would be after when we bought the excavator, we had to put it out on for bid because of it. And we had to spec out what we wanted and then we negotiated after we determined who it was.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. So there's a lack of equipment out here, even some of the stuff that we need to do, like, we brush hog that farm every year. Or when we were looking at getting a piece of equipment for the bridges, it's hard to find. I've rented some myself for the farm, but they can't get new equipment in, so they're selling the used. And if you look at all these places, they don't have anything. It's kind of like some of the car lots. It's,
Can you get the wood movement on and then make it a agenda item and make a decision? We gotta get the wood movement, we did that thing yesterday.
yeah, I should have some information back today. Friend of mine from church is one, he's the manager. He was at the Fairmont one, and he's running the one in Buchanan. And they sell bin track also, so we
Don't do what David said, is what I'm saying, let follow the process,
We got a spec tractor.
select the tractor.
Yeah.
And I'm not qualified to do that. If you are, do it. And let's move, please, let's move.
yeah, we need that. Because it's a whole lot faster than, and even in the interim, it's just a people issue at that point to rent, to see if there's something out there that we could rent to keep caught up. We're out next to Ron's house out that way. And I've had Tim over on the North Trail. So, we did hire a new fellow, Hunter, from the Walls area. 17, and he's a weeding machine. So that's good.
Parks and Rec.
Pardon me?
Don't let Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Tim's got a good one. So,
Please, get the ball moving tomorrow, on this. It is a priority. And I mean, if it takes us 30 days to get it, then we're gonna have to catch up in the fall just to get caught up.
yeah,
Please. I apologize, we should have started this in June and been ready for the July 1st budget. It's just as much on me as it is anybody.
we just thought we could keep limping along with this, but there's just, it's noisy, it's smelly, it burns oil, it's just blowing things apart, the steering come out of it. It's time to put it out of its misery. It's, some of that trail stuff is pretty narrow, so.
Thank you for this report. But please, let's move.
Okay.
Okay. Fine.
I'll get her the information ASAP. We did have some vandalism on the trail. It seems to be at Spelter where the big gates are. We keep locking it and put bigger chain and bigger locks, keep cutting it, leave it open so horses and stuff can get through. And it gets cut and it gets cut. And then I was down there.
Do you have a video so the sheriff can send a friend of ours out there next time? So I would love to. It's my best friend, which it may be for one, but I want him arrested and dead.
But we had some of the cameras up and they have stolen cameras, broken cameras. But they tore some of the fence up, so I sent Charlotte and Laura the pictures. About 60 foot or so of fence. And I'm sure that's a very sensitive issue because there's no trespassing on that reclaimed site, so. And then we've got to get some of the weeds and stuff in the fence out of there.
It belongs to Podesta. I emailed them yesterday and let them know, and he said they would send somebody out and check it.
Thank you. Anything else? Thank you, Brian.
Number 11, review, discuss, and consider acceptance and execution of transfer proposal regarding the Harrison County Commission. This is something that
Yes, this one, it did. And this one is actually with some of Trey's suggestions and updates to it. The only one that I believe we did not have in there was site visit. I think one of our suggestions from legal was to have someone out there every day looking, being at the site. And that would make the cost go up. So this is going to be several visits. It's just not going to be every day.
My question is, guess I missed the process. This had to be done by 5G.
We talked about this in a prior meeting about how Thrasher was familiar with the project, how there's an exception for.
There's no exception there. It's on purchasing policy. It doesn't have the words exception in it.
The purchasing policy says you all are going to follow the 5G process. The exception is built into the 5G process.
And how do we have to do that exception when we didn't put it out?
We talked in detail at a prior meeting about having Thrasher do this, and Mr. Miller sat here and I asked him a series of questions because they were familiar with the project. The onboarding cost alone, that's the exception is designed if somebody's familiar, a new engineering firm doesn't have to come in and onboard. The onboarding process alone would probably cost more than $20,000, which you all have capped this contract at a prior meeting. And trust me, I'm all for 5G process, but I'm not gonna reinvent the wheel when we can save money by contracting with the vendor who's been out there and is familiar with the project.
And so you don't think we're opening up the lawsuit where we capped at 20, they came in at 20. We say that anything that's over 250,000 should go by 5G. And we never gave any other company the opportunity.
Well, Thrasher is designing the bid packet here. The bid packet is going to.
Architectural and engineering services, projects over 250,000. This commission has always said that they will go out and give everybody the opportunity. We didn't do that.
I understand your point and have this conversation.
We can keep having a conversation. I'm just asking if you're willing to give a legal opinion that we're not going to fall into the lawsuits because we're not abiding by what we said.
So the lawsuit you were talking about is called a Ginsburg action. It's when you put out an RFP and there's a better responsive bidder who doesn't get the contract or the award based upon a number of qualifications. Here, Thrasher is helping the county design a bid process that's going to go through the 5G process. They're basically acting as the owner's engineer architect on the job up to $20,000.
I understand what you're saying, but we said if it's an architectural project that exceeds 250,000, that we go out. In this bid, it's already been stated that we're gonna spend 600,000. And it's in the paperwork for Thrasher, that we're gonna spend $600,000. So I'm asking that we know that how conveniently they met our 20,000. And there's no site visits which would exceed the 20,000. So is that another contract? And now we're doing contracts to stay under. We're gonna add to this contract. I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm trying to understand why CEC or whatever their names are, the other company that does a lot of work. I'm just trying to understand how we're sending Thrasher out this deal.
Yeah, and we talked about it before. It's in 5G13. If circumstances exist. In the previous satisfactory performance and knowledge of the agency's facilities and needs, engineers and architects are designed. The state allows people to do this. And remember, before I asked Mr. Miller, because I didn't have any familiarity, I said, what's your role in the rail trail? What's it been? What's it been from day one? How familiar are you with it?
And amend these.
What are you holding up to?
Harrison County Commission's purchasing policy procedures. In our procedures, it says that the architecture and engineering services for construction projects is based upon submission of an interest from the Harrison, for firms qualified. The Harrison County Commission will solicit or comply with governing statutes and such services. So are you saying that we've applied for all applicable statutes? That's
Yeah,
all I
because
wanna-
5G13 and 5G14
I
side.
would like to make an opinion that we applied and that we qualify. That's what I want.
You good, David? Motion to approve and move forward, please.
Motion to approve and move forward with the proposal. Trail upgrades. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No,
Please note the vote. Okay, review, discuss, consider budget transfer for the county clerk.
Motion to move forward.
Motion's been made to move forward. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Review, discuss, consider statement of available funds from the West Virginia State Treasurer's Office.
This is just the EODD, the Economic Opportunity Development District Fund. It's an updated of the account balance for the new fiscal year.
Motion to adopt in the record then?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to adopt into the record. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 14, review, discuss, consider a resolution authorizing the acceptance of grant funds from Department of Environmental Protection. Litter Control Grant Program.
Motion for our grant department to move forward with litter control grant program.
Is that what we're? Okay. Motion to move forward for the grant department to move forward with the REAP Litter Control Grant Program. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 15, update on status of 6th floor probation room. Judge Matish and Mr. Henry, potential executive session pursuant to attorney-client privilege. We need to go into executive session for this.
Yeah, I would like to speak with you all pursuant to the attorney-client privilege, but it's up to you all to make a properly framed motion
You want to go in executive session?
for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yes, but we need a motion.
What would that fall under?
It's pursuant to the attorney-client privilege.
Motion in the executive session pursuant as stated by the county.
Motion to go into executive session as stated by the attorney for executive session. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So we need to move forward with the asbestos report. Correct?
staff to proceed with testing.
Motion.
Yes.
Okay, motion's been made to, for staff to get someone in here to do asbestos testing.
Only in that room.
Yes, for that room on the 6th floor only. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Okay, number 16, review, discuss, consider hiring of county administrator. Again, potential executive session.
Why?
I'm asking, I want to make sure I said, it, don't mess it up.
Pursuant to the attorney-client privilege and pursuant to West Virginia Code 6984B2A.
694B2A.
Discussion on you going into executive session, motion pursuant to attorney-client privilege and or West Virginia Code 6984B2A. Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
If you want me to, this needs to go in there, you just need it, I can bring his name.
See how it comes out.
Oh, here, you want these? You can start signing off on.
Motion to go back into regular session. Motion to go back to regular session. Motion has been made to go back in, come out of executive session and go back into regular session. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Back to 16. Review, discuss, consider hiring of the county administrator. Okay.
That we go back out for applications. Hire a professional company to look for a county administrator with 10+ years of county administrator experience and a college background of business administration. Yes, ma'am.
Motion's been made to go back out to hire a company. To hire them to look at sales.
Go out and look for
For
county
county
administrator
administrator with 10 years
plus.
of county administration experience, college,
College degree of business administration or government administration, some type of administration.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Fail. I, for one, think Laura's been doing a fine job. And I would make the motion to hire her. As our full-time administrator.
Before we vote on that motion, we make the record.
Oh,
clear that
yes.
Laura was not
Or
in the executive
any of
session. It was just the three, pardon me, county commissioners who went back with legal counsel in the executive session pursuant to attorney-client privilege among others.
Make sure that's in the record.
I have that motion right here.
I'd like to ask a question. Who wrote the job description?
I believe that was a combination of what was given to the administrator, to the interim administrator. to take care
So am I to understand part of the record that you, and Mr. Cross gave her information that she used in that job description?
For the job,
She wrote it for the job,
for the job posting,
for the job posting.
yes.
Take that right away.
You both gave that to her before she wrote it up off her.
To my knowledge, that's what happened.
And we used the company on whose authorization advertised. Did the commission ever vote to use that company?
I believe we did.
Like the records show that I cannot find anywhere in the minutes that that ever was voted upon. We hired her to do that. And when we hired this company, I want the records to reflect that we pay this company and what did we pay them?
We paid them $100 to post our,
We gave them $100 to look for a county administrator.
correct.
And we got that information from the city of Bridgeport, if I'm correct.
And the city of Clarksburg
And the city
recommended
of
that.
Clarksburg. The city of Bridgeport paid them over $20,000 to find their person. That seems strange to me. I know that for some reason, you two want to force the issue of a county administrator today. And I wish I understood why we did not properly vote on who we're going to use. And that we never voted. And I want this in the record, because it's not in the record anywhere, that the three of us ever approved the job description. Job description was never approved, nor to post the job. Was never approved by the three of us. It's not in any agenda that this commission did. So I know our attorney's gonna be happy to go listen to the tapes. And written form is not there. So I don't understand how we're hiring somebody today when we have not done our duty or our due diligence in this process. Y'all want to vote?
We have some.
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Motion carried. Number 17, review, discuss, consider budget revision 1 for Fund 002 for severance for the fiscal year of 2021-22.
Correct, that is our budget revision that is due on the 15th for tomorrow. It is, our carryover was budgeted for $850,000 for the coal severance fund balance, but we had $1,083,211. So the surplus was revised by $233,211. We increased the capital improvement line. That way we can move in as needed. But all the paperwork is there to submit to the state auditor's office.
Thank you so much. Motion to adopt the record and approve this.
Motion to adopt into the record is approved. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 18, review, discuss resolution of July 16th, 21 for Harrison and Marion County Trail transfer.
Charlotte, would you like to discuss it?
It's a resolution that came from State Rail Authority, transferring the, section from Marion County into Harrison County, and they're transferring that over to us, for us to take care of and maintain from Marion County.
Motion to move forward and adopt the record. Move forward the transfer.
Was it? Motion's been made to adopt into the record and transfer. Further discussion?
So as I understand this, Marion County doesn't have any say in this, correct?
They agreed to it, yeah.
Who has that paperwork?
State Rail Authority. They also, they wrote them a letter, they wrote State Rail Authority a letter stating they would gladly give that part of the trail over to us.
Who stated that?
Tony. Last name.
Marion County, is it?
Yes.
So who is this person? Is he authorized to do this by Marion County?
He also did go to his commission, and the commission also voted on that.
Do we have a record of that?
I can get record of that.
Just trying to cover all bases that we're sitting there accepting a resolution.
Right.
I don't see any paperwork to back this resolution up.
I can get that.
Do you know anything about this, Trey? Have you been involved with any of this? Do you have legal documentation from Marion County that they've given this up?
So I've spoken with Tony. He's the head of their Parks and Rec up there at McPark, right, Charlotte?
Yes.
He's the individual who directly handles their rail trail. I was told it went to their commission and approved it. I haven't reviewed the minutes for Marion County. I haven't seen. Basically, they're going to transfer their contract rights to us under the Rail Trail Authority standard contract. But I haven't seen a formal assignment for those rights.
So if she wanted to do this, she could just do it, Charlotte,
Well,
without coming to us and us voting on it and some kind of written agreement.
It's Tony's last name. I just want-
I know.
I should know his last name, but Tony took it to the Marion County Commission, and I understand they voted on it and approved it. And it also went to the State Rail Authority, correct?
It did.
Because we have to get their consent within the agreements, and they approved it as well.
They did.
I have seen a letter from the Rail Authority where they approved the transaction.
This allows the Harrison County Commission to lease the portion of the Marion County Trail that connects Becker to Harrison County. Which means Shinston and Harrison County. For being enterprise. I mean, I just don't see where Marion County gave it up. They just said that they just considered our request and blow out.
I have a
So is that what
copy.
that's all this says that we've asked for? I just don't want to start spending money on something unless I have all the documentations there. That's all I'm asking.
I have a copy of Tony's letter that he sent to the State Rail Authority, if that helps too.
It doesn't help any more than you sending a letter. If the commission doesn't approve it, we're the three that are supposed to approve it. I have no idea what we're approving here today, other than I see a resolution that we're agreeing to something, but I don't see your paperwork to back up the resolution.
So would you be happy if we had an amendment and assignment of rights into the commission which accompanied the resolution signed by the Marion County Commission?
I think that would be pretty important piece of paper to have that the Harrison County Commission voted to release it.
My question is, we're just leasing it?
We never run the rail trail.
The rail authority maintains
Okay.
title.
All rail trails.
We can get that, I can get it to you by next week, as long as I get it to Chris and Ellen, they've already voted on it, it's gotta be Chris's. To get it to one of the. President.
I'd like to put on record that we're voting on something without proof.
Okay, motion to move forward. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The opposition. I don't think it would win this far. Have anything for your report?
I do. So throughout the fiscal year, we paid a gasoline tax throughout the year. We are actually going to refund of over $34,000 from the state tax department. Risk programs were supposed to be here this week to speak on our insurance valuation report. They had to reschedule. They will be here next week. Tomorrow we'll have our second work session on the levies. Central will be here at 9 a.m. for the transit levy discussion, and the rest will be a breakdown discussion about the commission departments for vital services. Steel's going up on the GSA building. Every day you can see more and more progress being made. It's pretty exciting. We had a productive rail trail meeting with Charlotte, Gina, Michelle, Chad Biller, and I think it went well. They're working on the list of top 5 priorities for the rail trails so we can get moving. And also Grant is working on grant opportunities for the rail trail as well. And then starting next week, the guys that are mowing on the rail trail, I've asked that they start sending pictures so we can see the updates of the maintenance being done on the rail trail. And that is all I
Comments? Only to say to you, congratulations.
Thank
That one heck of an 18 months. In a pandemic. And handling it the way you did with the others. It was a team effort. And without a doubt, it's a team effort that we'll have here. Thomas, I'm glad to lift the title. Interim off of you. But you never be planning on moving forward. And today is proof that we're moving forward and also that we have a lot of work to do. So, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you. I'm excited about
For working with you. That's all.
Mr. Engel?
I would just like to again advise or tell the public that I feel that we did not follow state code when it came to awarding the contract for Thrasher. And we do not seem to follow our own purchasing guidelines. This is the second time in many months that we have avoided that. only last thing, and this is nothing against Laura, but I feel that this commission failed the people of Harrison County. And going out and finding somebody to step in, the last person's job, this commission terminated for unknown reasons. They did not go out and they spent $100 to find somebody to oversee the $20 million business. To advise us. I just find it shocking. And that, no matter what I've said, that you two have never, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, taken this job search seriously. That's just my opinion. I think Laura's done a good job. She's thrown into a mess. And commend her on trying to salvage what is going on in this county, which you two chose to do on your own without any discussion among the three of us and with no plan. I think she's done a great job because I don't know how else we could have gotten here without what she's done. Because nobody knew and no plan was laid by this commission.
Motion to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.